friend Cornelius Minicianus. Have you heard that Valerius Licianus is practicing his profession in Sicily? I imagine that you have not yet heard this, but the news is fresh. Only recently this Praetorian was regarded as one of the most eloquent pleaders, but now he has slumped to becoming an exile from being a senator and teacher of rhetoric from being an orator. So in his prefatory remarks he stated sadly and heavily, "What sport you have with us! Fortune converting seniors into teachers and teachers into senators. There is so much anger, so much bitterness in this aphorism that he seems to me to have become a teacher in order to say it, when he made his century wearing a Greek cloak for those who have been debarred from water and fire and granted a right to wear a toga. He settled himself, surveyed his clothing, and said, I intend to deliver my speech in Latin. You will say that this was a melancholy and pitiable sight, but that he deserved it for blackening those studies with a crime of sexual impurity. He admitted this charge, but it is not clear that he did so because it was true, or because he faced graver charges if he denied it. For Domitian was raging and seething at being left high and dry amid strong feelings of odium. He had wanted to bury Cornelia, chief of the Vestals, live in his plan to at last to this era by deterrence of this kind, so by his right as chief priest, or rather by his monstrous behavior as tyrant, and by his free reign as despot, he summoned the order peace, not to the Regia, but to his Alban residence. He then perpetrated a crime no less weak than, than that which he appeared to be avenging. He condemned Cordelia, absent and unheard, for sexual impurity, though he himself had not merely defied his brother's daughter sexual, sexually, but had also killed her, for the widow died as a result of an abortion. Priest was immediately dispatched to arrange the burial and murder of Cornelia. She stretched out her hands, now to Vesta, now to the other deities, with repeated cries, and most frequently with these words: Caesar, Caesar believes me guilty of sexual depravity, though through my conduct of the ritual he has won victories and triumphs. It is not clear whether she uttered this was in flattery or in derision of the emperor. She repeated them until she was led out to her death. Whether innocent or not, she certainly behaved as though innocent. Indeed, when she was escorted down into the underground chamber, and her robe got up on her way down as she turned and with it, and the executioner offered her his hand, she turned away and recoiled from him, rejecting his full torch with a final gesture of chastity, as if her person was demonstrably pure and spotless. With successive movements of modesty, she took elaborate care to seek down with due decorum, in addition Celer, a Roman knight, who was charged with being a partner with Cornelia, as he was scourged in public, repeatedly said, What have I done? I have done nothing. The outcome was that Domitian was defeated, owing to the notoriety incurred by his cruelty and injustice. He had Lycianus arrested because he had hidden a freed woman of Cornelia on his estate. He was forewarned by responsible officials that if he wished to avoid being scourged in public, he should have recourse to a confession as a means of obtaining pardon. He complied. Herennius Senecio pleaded for him in his absence, adopting the Patroclus estate technique. I have become not an advocate by the messenger. Lycianus has withdrawn. Domitian welcomed this so enthusiastically that his joy betrayed him, and he said, Lycianus had acquitted me. He added that there was no need to hire him in his shame, and indeed he allowed him to grab whether he could of his of his possessions before the confiscation of his goods, and he awarded him the mild form of exile as a sort of reward. However, through the clemency of the David Nerva, he was allowed to move from his place of exile to Sicily, where he is now teaching, and his forwards to his lectures taking revenge of fortune. You observe how obediently I obey you. I write to you, for I write to you not only about affairs in Rome, but also about those abroad with such diligence, harking back to early events. I believe, in fact, that because you were away at the time, you had heard nothing about Lycianus beyond the fact that he had been relegated for sexual depravity. Common gossip reports of the case, but not the sequence of events. I serve in turn to obtain from you an account of what is happening in your town and neighborhood, from what noteworthy events often do occur. In short, report whatever you like, as long as your letter is as length as mine. I shall count not only the pages but also the lines and the syllables. Farewell.